What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TWA Motorsports, and today we have got the new to me, new to us, new to the channel flatbed truck in here. And why would we have it in here? Well, guys, I told you in the first video where I showed you this thing, and look, the interior is gross. I think a lot of you would think, man, he'll probably start in the interior and clean it up first. That is not the case, and here's why. Guys, I'm gonna run down the plan of what Cohen has, right? So his plan is to make this into a dually. That's what he wants to do. So we are gonna accommodate. I thought it'd be kind of a cool project for the channel, and he wants to move to this for a daily driver. So here's the situation. Normally, guys, you're right, I would clean it. That would be the first course of action with a vehicle on this channel. But here's the problem. I found a bed. I found a good dually bed, and so we got to get this old bed off. And the situation is the bed that I found is like a couple hours away. I don't really have a good way to haul it home. I could strap it to a trailer and risk damaging it on the way home. I thought about maybe flipping it upside down on the flatbed here. That's a possibility. But yeah, so, and the other thing is I listed this and there's a guy that's wanting to look at it. So either way, I'm gonna have to get this thing off. There's no way around it. I'm on a time crunch. I've got to go pick this bed up in a few days. So my plan was to get this bed off, hook up some temporary tail lights in the back, go down. The guy that I'm buying the bed from has tractors and tools, actually is a retired guy. And I think he kind of digs the fact of what we're doing. So it'll just work out, I think, if we take this down there with no bed on it and we just set the dually bed on. We can bolt it down. He's got all the bolts, and we can drive it back with the dually bed on it, even though it's only going to have a single rear wheel in the back, excuse me. But anyway, that's kind of the plan on this thing. So we are wanting to do a dually conversion. Actually, guys, the dually is the same rear end. It just uses a different axle, I believe. And so we're just going to use adapters on the front and the back to put a dually wheel on the back and to put the dually style wheel on the front. It is an 8 lug since it is a 3/4 ton truck. So anyway, that's kind of the plan. In this video though, I'm hoping, guys, we can get some of these bolts off. I've been spraying them over the course of a couple days with some WD-40. I don't know if there's a nut and a bolt or if it's just a bolt, but we are going to find out soon enough. I'm going to go grab my light and my impact. You can see some of the crossbars are kind of rusty on this thing. Yeah. Anyway, it's probably worth something to somebody. But let's see what size those things are and see if we can get started. So we've got several bolts to take out. So we've got the normal bed bolt spots you see here. And guys, it seems to be 13/16 fits that the best. I don't know if that's the stock size. I have a feeling they have a nut on the top. I can see the nut on the top, but I don't know if it's like a threaded insert. I don't think it is. I think I'm gonna have to put a wrench on the top. But okay, so we've got, I think, what is 8 bolts going front to back on each side. I did unplug the tail lights. I'm gonna have to cut I think I'm gonna have to cut a few things, some tape, in order to get them disconnected from the plug back here for the trailer. But you'll also notice that, see, it's got a reinforcement here that goes down to the back of this. So we're gonna have to pull that off as well, or at least loosen these up and swing this out of the way so when we go to lift it, it doesn't cause us any problems. So I think that's where we're gonna start. I have a feeling I've already got dirt all over me just from test fitting what size it is. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be fun. Well, we're definitely having to use a wrench on the backside. They are not threaded nuts. I was really hoping they were. So what I'm doing, guys, is I've got, you can see one of the braces that came from here to the side. I've got it off. It's laying over there in front of Cohen's Corvette. Just got to keep going now. Well, big surprise here. A couple of the bolts have been kind of troublesome. I've got one stuck up front there. I've got 3 of the 4 out on this side. I've got one that's hung up. I sprayed it and I'm going to let it set. But the 2 or the 4 in the back here, so you can see this guy's out and this one's out. So we're getting there. Guys, here's what I did. This was the only way. It was all these wires had been patched in, so I just went ahead and cut them right behind the patch. Normally I wouldn't do it like that. I'd try to disconnect them where they needed. But all the plugs, there was actually the stock plugs in the junction box, so I was able to pull those out. Where are they at? They're out here. So these guys were kind of patched in, but you could see what we were dealing with. So I just cut them on the back side of that. So all my wiring's done. So the only thing I have left to do other than get the bolts out is I've got to figure out something to do with the bed here, or the gas fill. This is actually welded on right here. So I'm gonna have to figure something out there. I'm gonna have to take that line loose and figure out a way, making sure nothing's tied up to the bed, right? So we obviously know it's hooked to the bed here. There's a vent and then the fill, but we need to make sure, obviously, when we go to take this thing off, that there's nothing else holding it. But I think, guys, we've got all the bolts other than, you know, like that one I said was stuck. And then I think I've got one left on this side, but let's keep going. You're probably wondering, how the heck are you gonna get this thing off? Are you gonna do it in your shop? No, actually, I'm gonna use my neighbor has a tractor. We're gonna go over there and have him lift it off. Well, she was a fighter. We got all 8 of them out. Anyway, we're moving on. The only thing I have left is we gotta get, there's a couple zip ties, like I said, that hook this together. And then I'm gonna wait to unhook these worm clamps until I'm ready to lift it off. But let's get, there's a couple like zip ties holding it to the frame up here. You can see one right there. We need to cut those loose, make sure they don't impede with us lifting it off. But one other thing I'd like to do, I'm going to take these little side steps off. Now these are the ones that actually sandwich on the body mounts. Probably not going to take that off, but there is a bolt comes in from the end. If I can get that loose, that's the way I'm going to take those off. It's time. We're going to go over to the neighbors and see if he can lift this sucker off. I'm going to take the camera with me. You guys can meet my neighbor. I think Braden will be on camera. Oh yeah, he might be the new hot shot on the channel, you know. Anyway, that's our plan, guys. We're gonna take this thing right across, since it's unbolted, so we're gonna go real slow. But once we get over there, I'm gonna go ahead and take these worm clamps off, because I don't want to take them off and risk getting some junk in the tank. It'd probably be fine, to be honest with you, but we'll just take it off when we get over there. Just a flathead screwdriver. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, we're back, as you can see. I really wanted to take a thumbnail with Braden taking it off, but oh well. Anywho, guys, I'm gonna have to figure something out here. For now, I'm gonna put a towel in there so no dirt gets in that. But we're gonna have to figure something out as far as gas line. That's an aftermarket piece somebody's put on there. But here's the situation now. We're gonna have to get, first of all, there's a bunch of junk up here. I may vacuum some of this off. But I want to get this gooseneck hitch off here, because we're gonna have to notch this truck to drop it, and that is right where the notch is gonna be. So what I'm gonna have to do is, I don't even know if I've got wrenches this big to get this thing off, but I know for sure I've got ones big enough to get the top plate off. I don't know about the bottom though. So we'll get this sprayed down with some WD-40, let it be setting, and then see if we can knock this thing off here. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Heavy?
Yeah. Just lift it and go back with it. Set it right there. I mean, it's got to hold a big old trailer. Well, we got the hitch off. Got the gas tank just temporarily tied up. We'll get on to that tomorrow night. I did blow it off. The hitch is sitting right there. Cohen's putting the C10 back in here. We had to pull it out, obviously, to make room. And then we swept this thing a couple times. Thing's just blowing the leaves back in. All right, so we'll continue tomorrow night on this thing. You'll see it all in this video, but we got to get some tail lights on it. All right, so it's the next evening. I went to my local Harbor Freight and bought me some tail light. So what I'm hoping to do with those is, look, they're magnetic, supposedly magnetic, I guess. I'm hoping that they will sit. That's pretty strong. Yeah, I don't think that's going anywhere. All right, so we got one for that side. Obviously we got one for the other side, but here's the situation. We got to wire these in somehow. And so guys, I did cut the junction box plugs off the other bed, but I'm thinking, honestly, I may just tie into the trailer harness here because they seems to be the easiest avenue. All right, so we got this and this. And then I can unplug it and plug it back in. I could use this maybe down the road if I ever had something that broke down, because it just plugs into like a 4 flat. So what that means is I'm gonna have to figure out exactly what wire for the trailer went where. It comes with another piece too. Now basically I just gotta figure out which one of these wires goes to what. So it should be green, green, brown, brown, yellow, yellow, and I think black will be our ground on the white, if I remember correctly. But I'll get this done off camera. I won't make you guys watch me go through this part, but we also got to address the gas filler. So I ended up chopping them apart and feeding them into the junction box. Guys, it was quick flashing on the one deal, so you can see now we have lights and brake lights. Try the flashers here. So we're good. And I think those will stay. So now we need to move on. You can see what I've got going on here. Here's what I think I'm gonna do. I don't have the time to get a factory plug, right? Or a factory hookup or connection here. So what I think I'm gonna do is, since the bed is off of the OBS, we're going to rob that spout and vent, or at least I'm hoping, off of that, and see if we can get it to fit over here on this guy. Really bad news here, because check this out. Look how big around the one is off the OBS, and look at how small the one is on this guy. It actually fits inside of it. So I may have to try, hopefully a salvage yard's open and I can maybe snag one from a local salvage yard. I don't really know what my other options are at this point. Well, sometimes you just get lucky. Check it out. Now look, this piece right here is all jacked up. That's not that big a deal, but we found one, and I actually put it on at the salvage yard. That's why it's on right now, guys. Just one clamp, and I got lucky because I had to lay in a bunch of briars. I got junk all over me to get this thing out, but there was one, and they have a ton of these trucks. A lot of people rob the fuel pumps, I noticed, in these trucks. So here's where we're at. We're all ready to go. I left this piece on mainly because if we get down there and for some reason this isn't long enough, I think they all go to the same spot. the gas doors and whatnot. So we'll just have to see. If it isn't, then we've got some additional, we could make some like an extension of some sort if we had to. But yeah, we are set to go. Now, look, guys, I am not going to take you along with me while we put the bed on. I'd love to, but some people just don't like being on camera, and I'm not going to make that guy feel uncomfortable. Older gentleman, like I said. And so hopefully I will finish this video with a bed on this truck. Now, it's going to look kind of goofy, I know, with the single wheel. And this is assuming I don't have any issues driving down there. Like I said, it's 3.5 hours with no bed. I don't know if you guys have ever driven a truck with no bed. It is not the funnest thing. I'll probably let a little bit of air out of the back tires to keep it from bouncing around as much, because they're kind of they kind of bounce around a little when they don't have a bed on them or any weight in the back. But anyway, the next shot you see will either be me broken down on the side of the road because I haven't really tested this truck, or we will be back here in the garage with a bed. We are back, guys, and we have a bed, and we're going to talk about this in the next video, kind of why my trailer's hooked up. But yes, we did get a bed, and look, it's not perfect. Neither is the truck, but it's in really, really good shape. It does have some cracks on the other side we'll look at in just a second, but this side, other than a few paint chips, pretty good shape. There's one crack up here, but it will be covered. I actually ordered, GM still makes these, so I got a set of them coming, but you can see the crack right here. Looks like somebody, you know, set something down on that or something. That will be completely covered. I may have that fixed, I don't know. Tailgate, he had one. It's not in the greatest of shape. You can see it's got some dings and scratches, but hey, I took it because it was there. And then in the back, you'll notice I've got the wiring harness. This guy actually had two beds, one completely destroyed. The other one, which is the one you see on the truck, is in pretty decent shape. The harness though was not there, so I robbed the harness off the other bed, because these have the side marker lights here on the the back and the front of the fender there, and so you got to have that in order to make that work. And then also got the bumper one and the tail light harness. So I do have tail lights in, guys. These are not the correct tail lights, that's why they don't fit really well. So we will be taking those out, but I did take those, and I actually drove home with my temporary lights back where they were at. So got a hitch. I want to clean this stuff up. You notice I got two bumpers. One bumper's in really good shape, the other one's got a ding in it here and there, so we'll just have to see. I'd really like to coat the back of these. So got a lot of plans here. I mean, a lot of stuff that we need to do. This is the side that I was telling you about, that's kind of, see where it cracked. What happened was, he actually bought this bed, it was in great shape, and right before the guy came to pick it up, a windstorm hit and dropped it off the stands onto the bottom. So all the pieces are there, and my body shop guy actually made the comment, he's like, you might put some tape there so none of them fall off. But there's another small crack right here, and but other than that, guys, it's in pretty good shape. Like I said, I think where we're gonna go next with this thing is, obviously we got a lot to do, but I think I'm going to start pulling some trim and stuff off in the next video, so we can kind of see, you know, how bad is the paint underneath the trim, and you know, start to address some of the cleanup issues. So you notice that it had some vent visors on it. There's still some two-sided tape there. Actually, look, that paint is, oh yuck, that's not good. I didn't notice that until just now. I wonder what the deal is with that. Just paint peeled. Anyway, guys, it's not perfect. You know, we didn't, you don't expect to pay low dollar for, you know, a perfect truck. So we got our work cut out for us, mainly cleaning, to be honest with you. So anyway, I told you guys that we would finish this video with a bed on this truck, and we did at least accomplish that. So I actually bought this bed pretty cheap. I paid $1,200 for it, if you guys are wondering. Around my area, a cracked one, right? So ones with small cracks like what I got are going for about $2,000. A perfect one, I saw a perfect one the other day that listed for $2,500. It was gone in like maybe 10 minutes. As a matter of fact, they didn't even respond to me. It sold so fast. So I think I did pretty well with $1,200. Plus I got two bumpers. I can sell one of those, maybe get $100 out of a bumper. So then we're in $1,100. And then I think, guys, I think I've got my flatbed sold. It's actually at my neighbor's house in his field, but I think you've got it sold for like $500. So I'm actually in the bed let's say around $700 all in. So I'm pretty happy with that. But if you guys did enjoy this video, if you are digging this new build, go down there and hit the comments and let me know. Of course, like always, guys, hit the subscribe, ring the bell notification that notifies you every single time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we work on next.